Sometimes I feel like I've ended more podcasts than I've started. I want to help you not be like me. Hello, I'm Mark Steadman, and I run the podcast hosting company Podiant, and it is my job to bring you actionable advice that you can apply to your podcast today. Now, how long should your podcast be, and how frequent are the episodes going to be? You'll have probably already read or heard that a podcast episode should be as long as it needs to be and not a second longer. And that is right. The time fits around the content and not the other way around. You might be familiar with the quote about sculpture, how you take a hammer and a chisel and a big chunk of marble and basically chip away all of the marble that you don't need. Well, the same is true of editing. Editing is essentially about saying no. It's about making decisions about what doesn't make the cut. It's about creating something at the end that's lean, but that doesn't feel over-processed. It's a really delicate balance. Now, good editing is completely unnoticeable, I'm sorry. You've done a good job if no one comments on your editing. It's about trimming the excess without anyone noticing. Now, these skills, they come with time and they come with practice. So you don't have to be awesome at this straight away. So don't worry if maybe your episodes feel a little bit flabby or you can notice that edit point somewhere. Just get started and then you can worry about the finesse later. Now let's talk about sustainability. You need a sustainable schedule so that this stays fun and enjoyable. A daily show might be fun, but what happens when you miss an episode? Can you bank episodes? How does production time fit into your everyday life? Consistency is really key to this whole thing. We're creatures of habit. We expect our podcasts on certain days, and if we don't get them, we kind of feel a little bit cheated. Frequency is important as well. So I tend to think that every 2 weeks is a good minimum. Less than that, it becomes harder to gain real estate or gain traction in people's minds. It's harder for listeners to form habits around your podcast, which is what we want them to do. Remember that if it's good, your podcast will fit into listeners' schedules. You become a part of their regular lives, and that is a tremendous privilege. And so we have to make sure that as podcasters, we don't abuse it. Now, think about your time too. That's really important. If it takes 18 hours to make a podcast episode, then is that really sustainable on a weekly basis, for example? If you're editing too much, then maybe a little bit more show prep at the beginning stage might be helpful. If you're taking lots of time in between the recording and the editing of episodes, think about how you can maybe make notes during the recording or just after so that you can help future you down the line. If you've got a co-host, then sometimes it can feel like you're doing all of the work. You're editing, you're arranging all of the recordings, but that doesn't have to be the case. You don't have to settle for that. Ask for help from your co-host. What can they do that can ease your workload? If you're editing the episodes, can they help with doing some marketing? Maybe they can do some of the social posts or make audiograms for you. Maybe you can take it in turns to edit. Maybe they edit one week and you edit the next week. If you're serious about your podcast, then maybe consider a virtual PA or another assistant, especially if you're doing this alone. They can help with guest wrangling, social post writing, Instagram clips, building a mailing list. Ultimately, though, this should be fun. This should be enjoyable, and your joy is audible. Similarly, your frustration is also audible. We can tell, the listener can tell when maybe this week you're not really feeling it. So whether it's for fun or for profit, this stuff has to fit into your schedule. Don't just go weekly because that's what you think other podcasts are doing. Start slowly and ramp up until you feel ready. The important thing is just don't stop. Avoid the pod fade. That's what we want to do at all costs. We've got to keep you podcasting. That's what we want to do. And we've got loads of tools to help with just that. You'll find lots of stuff over at podiant.co/learn, where you can also take advantage of our free 14-day trial of our podcast hosting service. Thank you very much for watching this. My name is Mark Steadman. You can find Podiant on Twitter at PodiantHQ. And of course, our website is podiant.co. And if you want more practical, actionable advice that you can apply to your podcast today, then I urge you to subscribe to this very YouTube channel. Search for us, find us, hit that button, subscribe, and you'll get lots more videos like this. Take care.